Vrindavan. Who doesn't love Vrindavan? Vrindavan is our home right from 1967 onwards. As soon as Prabhupada started making disciples, initiated disciples in the West, he had a plan to establish what he used to call an American house in Vrindavan. He wanted at least one place where devotees could come and be trained up in the Vaishnava theology and practices. Of course, when he did come to India in 1970, late 1970, to formally establish ISKCON, that plan had developed so that he wanted a place in Vrindavan, he wanted another place in Mayapur, and he wanted a place in Puri, because these are the important Vaishnava centers. So the Vrindavan Krishna Balaram Mandir, of course, was the first custom-built temple in ISKCON, in the most important place for all Vaishnavas, Vrindavan. And we see the effect that it has on devotees when they come to the Dham. It transforms them, it gives them an inner vision of Krishna consciousness, and it purifies anybody who comes here. So that was Prabhupada's plan. From 1972 onwards, he was advertising an international
you can carry on, Prabhupada. You can carry on.
Close the door. From 1972 onwards, with the laying of the foundation stone in Mayapur and the beginning of the construction here in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada had a plan that as many devotees as possible should come every year during the Gaur Purnima festival to Mayapur and Vrindavan, so that they could experience Krishna consciousness as a natural culture. So over the years that festival has grown tremendously. Now we see that here in Vrindavan, not only at Gaur Purnima do thousands of devotees come, but also during the Kartik month, which we're celebrating right now, tens of thousands of devotees are coming to stay and experience the spiritual atmosphere here in the Dham. Prabhupada was questioned about the viability, if you like, of so many devotees coming every year to Mayapur and Vrindavan. In 1977, one of his managers was a bit concerned. He had calculated that at that time the attendance at the Mayapur festival was costing the society as a whole, at least in America, about $750,000. That was a calculation in terms of actual cost for flying over and back. The drop-off in book distribution in America, the drop-off in collections that were being sent to the BBT, etc. And he had a proposal to Prabhupada that maybe just each temple should send 1/3 of their devotees one year, another third another year, and another third the next year. So in a cycle of every 3 or 4 years, devotees would come. In that way, at least some level of book distribution would continue on, it wouldn't suffer, and there would be not so much expenditure, which would affect other preaching projects if that money wasn't there. So Prabhupada listened very carefully to the suggestion, and at the end of it he said no. He said as many devotees as possible should come every year to Mayapur and Vrindavan, because he knew the power of the Dham, he knew the purifying effect it would have on his disciples. He was aware that they were out preaching in difficult circumstances very often in a highly materialistic society for 10 or 11 months a year. So that break that they got coming to Vrindavan and Mayapur would cleanse away the accumulated dust of material impressions that they gathered up or come in contact with during the year, and that would infuse them and provide them some spiritual energy to go back and continue with their preaching. So the preaching movement, of course, is centered in Mayapur and Vrindavan. We see in the time of Lord Chaitanya, Vrindavan was not very well known, and most of the places of leelas and pastimes were covered over. And when Lord Chaitanya came, he personally had to find out where was Radhakund and so many other spots. So he instructed his best men, his leading disciples, particularly the 6 Goswamis, to come and live in Vrindavan and gradually uncover the Dham and reveal it to the world. So that was 500 years ago. Now we see a similar thing is happening in Mayapur. The Dham there, place of Lord Chaitanya's appearance, became covered over just after Lord Chaitanya's disappearance. And for some hundreds of years it was not very well known. But now, with the advent of Srila Prabhupada coming and fulfilling Lord Chaitanya's prediction that the holy name would spread all over the world, simultaneously the development of Mayapur Dham is also now beginning to take place. So there's a parallel between the reappearance, if you like, of Mayapur and the reappearance of Vrindavan 500 years ago when Lord Chaitanya was personally present. So we expect that in the same way that Vrindavan now has, become highly developed and well known, Mayapur will also become the leading place of pilgrimage for the devotees, at least in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and it will become worldwide. It will be known worldwide, and we want Prabhupada's prediction that millions of people will come from all over the world to Mayapur. We want to fulfill that prediction, so we're working towards that goal.